Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name's Katie. In this video I'm going to be testing out a bunch of new NYX makeup products. So I've got the new Can't Stop Won't Stop concealer, I've got the powder foundation, I've also got some either eye glitters, and I've also got a bunch of lip products. So obviously this isn't a full face, but I felt like it was enough to do a video on, so we're gonna get straight into it. Obviously when they announced the Can't Stop Won't Stop concealers, I was like, yep, I need those as soon as possible. Obviously we got them a little bit later in the UK than the US got them. The US got them a few weeks before us. So I think there's 24 shades, I believe. I'm not 100% sure, but it's not as good of the shade range as their foundation, which I think was 50 shades. But I mean, it's still a decent shade range. I don't know why, like, a lot of brands, they'll always make their concealers like have less shades than their foundation. I've never understood that, because like surely people are going to use a concealer and a foundation, right? So I picked up two shades. I have tried the Can't Stop Won't Stop foundation, and I got the shade Pale, but it's actually too light for me. So what I thought I'd do is get the shade Pale. It's obviously like a kind of brightening thing, which normally I can never get brightening concealers because then the concealers never normally go light enough for that. So I got the shade Pale, but then I also got the second lightest shade, which is Fair. Pale is supposed to have a more yellowy undertone, which I'd agree with, and Fair has a more neutral undertone, which I'd also agree with that. So yeah, I kind of wanted one to brighten and then one to just like match my skin shade, and I think the colours are pretty good in terms of that. So that this shade here is Pale, and then next to it is Fair. That's the worst swatch I've ever done, but hopefully you should be able to see how Fair is more lighter and more yellow tone, whereas did I say Fair? Pale is more lighter and yellow toned, and Fair is more kind of neutral and undertone, I'd say, and it is a tiny bit deeper. But I think I should be able to get away with both of these shades, really. So I don't have a foundation to try out, but that's okay, because I kind of wanted to just see what the concealers were like on their own, because quite often I will just use concealers like all over my face. But what I'm going to do before I do like any eye makeup is I'm going to just, well, I'll try the shade Pale, and I'll just kind of do a close-up of my like eye area, so I can just show you the extent of the coverage before any other products are on. So I'll just get closer so you can see the kind of discoloration and what I've got going on in terms of things I need covering in my eye area. So I'll just leave like one eye, I'll leave this one bare, and then I'll put some on my eyelid and my under eye. So I'm going in with the shade Pale, and I'm just gonna pop some of this under my eye and on my eyelid. Right, so I've applied that on at this side of the eye, so I'll just kind of show you them side by side so you can obviously see that it has covered quite well. I wouldn't say it's full coverage, just because there is still a little bit of discoloration that I can see coming through, just like right on my under eye, and I can still see a few kind of veins on my eyelid. But I would say that coverage is definitely very good coverage. I just wouldn't say it's quite as good as the Jouer one that I tried in my first impressions, but you know what, I'm liking this level of coverage. I think it's decent. I mean, you can definitely like see the obvious difference there, I think. I'll take this off of my under eye. I'm going to put some concealer on the other eyelid, and I'm just going to prepare my eyes for the glitters that we've got to use. I might as well just do some transition shades off camera, because I've not got any other NYX eyeshadows to use. I've just got a few glitters. Right, okay, so we're back. I've just done some sort of transition shade thing, and I kind of did a bit of a cut crease as well. So I bought 3 glitters from NYX. So we've got 2 of the glitter palettes, I don't know how you say that. I don't know if it's written in French or something, because I think NYX is a French brand, or like they ship from France or something to the UK. I don't really know. I've got 03 and 05 here. So the first shade is called Beauty Beam, and it's kind of like this. It's kind of pink, but with lots of different... My camera does not want to focus on that, does it? If I keep holding it still, will it focus? Yeah, can you sort of see that now? Yeah, but it's kind of got like a mix of different colours in there. I'd say it's mostly pink, but with like blue and silver and green and all sorts of things going on in there. I thought it looked super pretty. And then I also got the one called Lumi Light, and this one is literally just like a white, silvery, glimmery colour. Let's see if it will focus on that. There we are. That one does look really pretty, actually. And then I got one of their glitter brilliance, I don't know. This one's in the shade teal. This one is literally like a nice glimmery bluey colour. Again, wait for this one to focus a bit. There you go. I think it looks absolutely stunning. And then I also got their pigment primer, which I assume will probably work with like glitters as well. Well, we're hoping it will. I do have their the NYX glitter primer. I think this one's meant more so for like pressed glitters and, you know, things where it's kind of in a pan, but I don't know. But it looks like this. It's the same sort of packaging as their glitter primer, so it's just like a squeezy tube. I'm hoping that this works with the glitters. I have tried the NYX pigments before, the loose pigments, but I've not tried any of their glitters before. But I did really like the pigments, so hopefully that means I should sort of like these as well. Obviously we've got 3 shades there, so I think I'll just use 2 and do a sort of halo eye. I think what I'll do is I'll put the bluey shade in the 2 outer corners. I'll just get a bit of the pigment primer and just press that over where I've done the cut crease. This one's a bit like watery. Kind of weird. So, wow, that's really like slippy and slidey. I'm just gonna pop a bit of it like just all over really and hope that it sticks onto that. So I'm just using a little brush and oh wow, that's so pretty. I'm packing it in the center and hoping that it grips onto all of this pigment primer. I'm not sure how well it's going on top of that pigment primer. What I might do is just finish this eye off and then try it with my glitter primer and this eye and see if it works a bit better, because I don't know, I feel like the texture's gone a little bit weird. But we'll go in with the teal one as well and just put that on the 2 outer parts. I feel like the blue one showed up a bit better, but I feel like it's not working very well with that pigment pomade. What I'm going to do on the other eye is try it out with my NYX glitter primer instead and see if it works a bit better. Because that pigment primer, like, it was kind of watery and really like slidey, whereas I know that this NYX glitter is more of like a kind of cream. It's like more thick. I've not had any issues using this in the past, so it always works pretty well with glitter. So I'm just going to blend it on the top of this concealer. Maybe the pigment primer reacted with the concealer a bit funny or something, I don't know. So hopefully I'll try and do the same thing and it will turn out a bit better. I can already tell that's way better. Okay, well that is way better. That's gone on so much more opaque and less patchy, and again doesn't want to focus. And the actual glitter itself is stunning. I love what the colour reflects. I think the glitters themselves are actually stunning. I think they're beautiful colours and like the quality of them seems really good. Look, I don't know if you can tell the difference, but it's like this eye is such a mess. I think I'm just going to have to go off camera and redo this eye because it's just upsetting me looking at it. Then I'll do some mascara and I think I'll put some black liner on my top waterline. Though I have got something new to put on my bottom waterline, so I'm just going to do that and I'll be back. Okay, we're back. I've tried to fix the other eye. I put some eyeliner on my top waterline and also some mascara. I used the Essence Lash Princess mascara, just in case you're interested. The last thing I'm going to do in my eyes is, so I think these are new. This is the NYX Off Tropic Pro Liner, and I got mine in the shade Pineapple Punch. They're just like these really brightly coloured twisty up mechanical pencils, but they had them in a whole load of like kind of neon fluorescent colours. I just got one because I wanted to try it and see if the formula was any good, and if I do like it I think I will buy some others, because I do occasionally like to do looks where there's kind of like a bold colour in your waterline. I think it's just like a cool kind of look. So I might as well just try this out on my bottom waterline today and see if it is any good. It swatches pretty pigmented, so that's just a swatch of it there. So it does seem pretty pigmented, so let's hope it shows up well in the waterline. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pop this on. Well damn, that does seem pretty pigmented to me. Colour shows up really well, glided on really nicely. So hopefully it doesn't just like come off straight away, but If it doesn't, then that's great. I definitely will buy some more colours of that because that's pretty damn cool. I quite like the contrast. So we'll leave our eyes alone and move back on to the base, and I have tried to get off as much glitter off my face as I can, but there's probably still some there. And we'll go back in with our concealers. As I said, I'm not going to use a foundation. I will just use these concealers, and then obviously I've got the powder foundation to try out as well. So I'll go back in with the shade Pale, and I'm just going to put this under my eyes, and then I think I'll put a bit like on the centre of my forehead and down my nose. Right, well that is super brightening. I look a bit crazy. So I'm going to go in with the shade Fair now, and I'm just going to pop this basically on any other areas where I want more coverage, so I have some blemishes around the side of my mouth. And I'll just put some on the outer parts of my nose. It's not really that much darker. It's only like a little bit darker. Okay, so I think I'm happy with that amount of concealer. It's definitely quite similar to the foundation in that it's quite a dry formula concealer, which I feel like often concealers tend to be very like oily, so it's quite interesting that this is a concealer that actually is quite like matte. The coverage is pretty good. I wouldn't say it's full coverage, but like it's pretty close, like a high medium I would say. And obviously it's going to look nicer on top of foundation, then I feel like you definitely would have like a full coverage look overall. But just on its own, I'd say kind of like a high medium. I do quite like the level of coverage actually, like I'm pretty impressed with it. Again, as with the foundation, I feel like if you've got quite dry skin, it may not necessarily look the most flattering. You probably wouldn't get along with it very well, but if you've got normal to oily skin, I think it looks alright. I will say it does look a little bit like crepey under my eyes, but I find this with most concealers if I'm honest. Those are quite fast drying, so I'd work with it quite fast if I was you. I wouldn't like put it on and then like wait before you blend it in. I'd kind of, you know, going pretty fast with it. Happy with both of the colours. I think that the pale shade worked great for brightening, and the alabaster looks pretty similar to my skin tone, so I'm very happy with the shades. I will just get up a little bit closer to the camera just so you can see exactly how it sits on my texture. Like I covered these spots that I have around my mouth pretty well. Like I can see them a little bit obviously, but it's covered them pretty well. And obviously this is just concealer on its own, there's no foundation there, so that's quite impressive. Obviously I'm going to want to try these on top of foundation because that's generally how I use concealers, but on their own, pretty good. So I've also got their Can't Stop, Won't Stop powder foundation, which I was really excited about because something that I've been really wanting to find this year is a setting powder or a powder foundation, any kind of powder really, that's like a skin toned colour, that isn't translucent or a colour corrector, but it's pale enough for my skin, and I think potentially we could have it here. I obviously got mine in the lighter shade Pale, which definitely is more on the warm yellowy tone side. I got a good feeling about this. I mean, it looks pretty light, swatch is pretty light, so I think potentially we could find our new favourite setting powder. Obviously it's described as a powder foundation, but I'm definitely not expecting it to be like high coverage or anything like that. I don't really expect things that are described as powder foundations to actually be like a full face of foundation. I just expect them to kind of set my face and maybe add like a tiny bit more coverage. That's what I'm expecting here. I'm just going to tap the creases out under my eyes and go in with my little brush to set under the eyes. And when being honest, when I pat out this concealer under my eyes, I'm not like mad about how it looks under my eyes. Like it's just a little bit crepey and just a bit drier than what I normally like. I can't really comment too much on how that's set under the eyes, just because the concealer is so dry anyway. That's the sort of thing that doesn't really need setting. So I'm just going to go in with my big brush to do the rest of my face. This feels like really lightweight, like it's not heavy feeling at all. It's just kind of like gliding on. It feels really smooth. It doesn't look heavy or cakey. I can't really judge it fully just on this base, first of all because the concealer was quite dry in the first place. I'd really need to use something that's more oily in consistency to tell how well it is at mattifying. I don't know if I'd say it's added any coverage, maybe like a tiny bit, but I don't really care if it adds coverage because I'm just wanting something that sets my face and doesn't like make me look the wrong colour. That's all I really want. So I think that this potentially could be onto something here. And obviously I'm just going to have to try this out with like a full face of foundation on that's a bit more oily in consistency, which is most foundations. So the only new products I have left to try is lip products. So I'm just going to go ahead, put some cheek products on, do my brows and finish off my eyes, and then we'll be back for those because I've got a lot of lip products. Okay, so we're back and I've done pretty much all my makeup now, and I'm made my hair into some weird sort of bun. So we've just got some lip products to try now. I bought two of the NYX Suede Matte Lipsticks. One is in the shade Dainty and the other is in the shade Munchies. So Dainty looks like this. The packaging is super cute. And it's this sort of colour. It's sort of kind of peachy, kind of nude. But they smell so sweet and lovely, and the formula looks like it's going to be quite matte, which is kind of what I prefer. That's the shade there. Definitely quite creamy but quite matte in formula, so I've got a feeling I'm going to quite like these. And then the shade Munchies is kind of like a grey kind of toned nudie brown colour. It's sort of like a MAC Stone-esque colour, which is one of my favourite kind of lipstick shades. So glad that I've got this. I'll just do a little swatch of that too. Munchies next to it there. That's totally up my street, that colour. I also got this cute ass thing. This is the Whipped Wonderland Soft Matte Metallic Lip Cream set, and I think you get 12 miniature versions of their soft matte lip creams, and they're all metallic ones. I think I got it for like £15. It was definitely reduced by a lot, so that's kind of one of the reasons I wanted to get it, as well as the fact that some of the shades in here look quite unique and have been so boring with lip colours all of last year, so I was wanting to kind of try something a bit out of my comfort zone, and there's some really cool shades in here. Yeah, you've got loads. You've got like blues, you've got pinks, you've got like golds, you've got like these two colours, and these two colours here look really cool. Obviously I don't think I'm going to be able to try all of these shades on my lips today because I don't want my lips to fall off, but we'll try a good few. So I'll start with the matte suede. So I'll go in with the shade Dainty first and just pop this one on my lips. That was super creamy to apply, glided on so smoothly. The colour looks absolutely gorgeous and it's incredibly opaque and pigmented, and I love that. That could be my new go-to nude. I'll just rub that off with a wipe with some makeup remover on, and I'll try out the other shade. Right, so we're going with Munchies now. Oh, that's stunning. If you want a dupe for MAC Stone, this is it. That's gorgeous. I think they're about £8, so it is about half the price of a MAC lipstick. But again, same formula as the first one, but that colour is totally up my street. So like grungy and like 90s. So I definitely would recommend those NYX matte suede. Absolutely love them. My lip line area is just going to get bigger and bigger as I remove all of these lip products. Obviously I can't try all of these today because there's like 12 of them, so I'm just going to pick out like 3 colours that intrigue me the most and try those out. And these aren't full size, by the way. They are like kind of like half the size of a soft matte lip cream. I still feel like there's a decent amount of product in there. Considering I got like 12 of them for like £15, I think it's a pretty good deal. So this first shade is called El Segundo, not sure if that's how you say it. But this is kind of like an olivey green one. They're all like metallic though. No, not everyone likes metallic liquid lipsticks. I don't really have anything against them. But I just want to see what this one's like because I'm very intrigued by the colour. So let's try this one out. Wow, look at that. That's kind of like a kind of cosmic vibe going on with that one. They apply like so smoothly. I would say it's like a tiny bit like patchy. Well, it's not really patchy, it's just not completely opaque. Obviously these dry down matte as well, so it is going to settle into the lines a little bit, but that's kind of the nature of liquid lipsticks or lip creams. So I feel like it's kind of dried down there. So they definitely do dry down matte, but they don't feel like heavy on the lips at all. They do feel like really comfortable to wear. I mean, you can see that it definitely does settle into the lines a bit, but I kind of find that unavoidable with liquid lipsticks, especially because I've got very dry, flaky lips naturally. Yeah, these are quite hard to get off. I tried to take that off. It didn't go so well. I'm not going to let the others dry down matte before I take them off. So let's try the shade Venice next, which is kind of like a lilac-y, lavendery sort of colour. Ignoring the application, that's what that colour looks like. Again, very intergalactic looking, very pretty. I'm going to take it off before it dries down. So we'll finish off with the shade Athens, which is like a kind of dark blue sort of colour. Okay, we're going to leave it with this one, which again is absolutely stunning. The only bad thing I can say about these products is that you kind of have to work with them a bit. You do need to kind of build them up a bit to get like the faux opacity, what's the word? So this is the finished makeup look. So I'll just quickly tell you my thoughts on everything again. So with the concealers, I love the shades. I think the shades are really good. I like the level of coverage that these concealers have. It's really good. My one issue with these is I do feel that they just look a little bit dry. I didn't really have an issue with how it looked on like the kind of outer part of my face. It was just mainly like under the eyes. Kind of sinks into your fine lines a bit and looks a little bit creepy, if I'm being completely honest. I feel like on the other parts of my face, I didn't really have an issue with how it looked. Obviously, it's still kind of like dry and matte looking. I don't really have an issue with like a matte finish, but I just found that under my eyes it wasn't particularly flattering. But I still think they're decent concealers and worth checking out. However, if you have dry skin, I would stay clear from these. The powder foundation is hard to kind of give my full opinion on this because everything was so matte in the first place, but I think that this could potentially be my new favourite powder. It sat on the skin really nicely. My skin looks really good. The colour doesn't look off in any way, and obviously I feel matte, but I mean I kind of felt matte before, to be honest. I will need to try this out again on a more oily foundation. I think the glitters are super pretty. I mean, you can just see right there that they are super pretty. I think maybe I wouldn't use them just over the top of concealer in the future. Like I think I'd probably just put on like a beige or a white shade on the cut crease and then put the glitter on, just because I don't know if you'll be able to see, but it does kind of like sink into the line on my eyelid a bit, so I think I wouldn't necessarily just use the glitters on top of like a wet concealer, if you know what I mean. Beautiful colours, and I still got to try out that white one, but I think they're pretty good glitters. I didn't really get along with the pigment primer. I'll find some other use for this, but it just did not work with the glitter very well. It worked absolutely fine with the original NYX glitter primer. The Off Tropic Pro liner that I popped in my waterlines, still holding up really well. I did layer it a little bit just because I got a bit of mascara on top of it. I think it looks really good. I think I'm going to have to pick up the other colours of this because I like it. It's a look. It's a statement. I really like these. I think I'm going to have to get some more of these. The two suede lipsticks could potentially be my new favourite nude bullet lips because they're just really good. Love the formula, love the colours, the undertones. Amazing. And the lip creams, obviously I've just talked about them. The colours are very interesting and intriguing. Do really like the formula of the lip creams. The only thing I can say is that you do have to build them up a bit. They're not fully opaque when you put them on. So that is all I have to say on these NYX products. So I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.